The moment Amara was dragged into the station, everything felt like it was closing in on her. The walls, the stairs, even the air. The officers spoke over her, not to her, as if her voice had already been dismissed before she could even use it. Then the door burst open. A man stepped in, tall, composed, but visibly furious. "Who is in charge here?" His voice thundered across the station. The room fell into an uneasy silence. A few officers exchanged looks, annoyed at the interruption. One of them, a sergeant with a hardened face, stepped forward. "And who are you to barge in here shouting?" The man didn't answer immediately. His eyes scanned the room, until they landed on Amara. For a split second, his expression softened. "Uncle," Amara whispered, her voice breaking. That single word shifted something, but not enough for the officers to understand. The sergeant scoffed. "Oh, so you're related? Good. Then you should know she's in serious trouble. Assault, property damage." "Enough." The man's voice dropped, quieter now, but far more dangerous. The officers stiffened slightly. "I asked," he continued slowly, stepping closer, "who authorized this arrest?" Another officer leaned back in his chair, unimpressed. "Look, sir, we don't have time for. I'll ask one last time." Now there was something different in the air. Not just anger, authority. Reluctantly, the station inspector emerged from his office. "What seems to be the problem here?" The man turned to him, calm but firm. "The problem is that my niece has been detained without proper investigation." The inspector folded his arms. "And you are?" A pause. Then the man reached into his pocket and placed a leather identification wallet on the desk. "Read it." The inspector hesitated, then opened it. And in that instant, the color drained from his face. His posture straightened immediately. "Sir." The entire room shifted. Chairs scraped. Officers who had been lounging now stood upright. The same sergeant who had been speaking rudely moments ago took a step back, his confidence evaporating. Because standing before them was not just an angry relative. He was the general overseer of the entire force. And they had no idea. The silence became suffocating. I wasn't informed," the inspector stammered. "That much is obvious," the uncle replied coldly. "If you had followed procedure, you wouldn't be in this position." He turned toward Amara, his voice softening again. "Are you hurt?" She shook her head, overwhelmed. Then he faced the officers again, and this time, there was no restraint. "You detained her based on what? Assumptions? Bias? Or were you simply eager to close a case without evidence?" No one answered. No one dared. "Release her." "Immediately." "Why, yes, sir." The handcuffs came off faster than they had been put on. Amara stood, rubbing her wrists, still trying to process what had just happened. But her uncle wasn't done. "I want every report, every statement, and every name involved in this arrest on my desk within the hour," he said. "Because if I find out this was mishandled..." He let the sentence hang. It was far more terrifying unfinished. Then he turned and began walking toward the door. Amara followed, her steps unsteady. Just before they exited, he paused and glanced back. "And one more thing," he added quietly. "Next time you see someone walk into this station, you might want to ask who they are before you decide how to treat them." They left the station in silence. But outside, as the doors closed behind them, Amara finally found her voice. "Uncle, I didn't know." He sighed, the anger fading into something deeper. "That's the problem, Amara," he said gently. "You weren't supposed to need to know." He looked back at the station one last time. "But now, we're going to find out exactly why this happened." And somewhere inside that building, fear had already begun to spread, because the story they thought was over had just begun.